What up, peeps? Welcome to What's the Story, Gemini, the podcast where I ask Google Gemini about a topic and then we learn about it together. So today I'm going to be learning about Karoshi. I heard this, I actually don't remember where. Pretty sure it was someone on YouTube because as you should be aware by now, I'm a little obsessed with YouTube. Between YouTube and Yellow Jackets on Paramount Plus, holy shit. Anyways, so, what sparked my interest in this topic is that Karoshi was dubbed death by overwork. And this sounds miserable to me. As somebody who makes it a priority to take at least one nap a day, this sounds terrible. Kind of sounds like my nightmare. This is like my Sisyphus. Except instead of like rolling a boulder up a hill for forever, it's just constantly doing work. Just no naps. No naps is my idea of hell. So, anyways. So today, I decided to ask Gemini a little bit more about this because it sounds, again, both terrifying and interesting. So, let's jump in. Karoshi, a term that might sound unfamiliar to many, is a stark reality for millions of workers worldwide. It's a Japanese word that literally translates to death by overwork. This phenomenon, once primarily associated with the intense work culture of Japan, has now spread its tentacles across the globe, particularly in countries with demanding work environments. Okay, immediately off the bat, this kind of reminds me of like 1980s US, which I mean, I'm in the US. I was born here. I was raised here. So like that's what I think of is like 80s culture where they're like, I work so hard today. I put in this many hours. Like, yeah, good for you. But like, the world is, what was it? I think the numbers were we're 69% more productive than we were however many years ago, but only getting paid like 11% more. I should look that topic up. Someone double check my numbers. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that, and I don't know the number of years. Um, so anyways, I digress. The roots of Karoshi can be traced back to Japan's post-World War II economic miracle. As the nation rapidly industrialized, a unique work culture emerged, characterized by long hours, intense pressure, and a strong emphasis on loyalty to one's company. I'm sorry to interrupt again. I already hate this. This sounds miserable. Loyalty to one's company? I get that that used to exist for like our parents. I don't think that exists anymore. Don't they say that like millennials jump to a new job every 2 to 4 years or something like that? I'm getting distracted. I may have had some caffeine. I forgive me. Let, let's get back into it. This culture, often referred to as salaryman culture, created a breeding ground for overwork and stress-related illnesses. In the 1960s, the first cases of Karoshi began to emerge. These were high-powered executives and white-collar workers who collapsed and died suddenly from heart attacks and strokes, often attributed to excessive work hours and stress. The term Karoshi was coined in the 1970s to describe these tragic deaths. Fuck that! I am not working myself to death. Can you imagine, like, working so much that you die at work? Are you kidding me right now? And then what if you actually turn into a ghost and then you have ghost work to do? And then you're just, I'm getting off topic again. Initially, the concept of dying from overwork was met with skepticism and disbelief. However, as more and more cases surfaced, the issue gained public attention. In the 1980s, Japan experienced a period of economic prosperity known as the bubble economy. During this time, the pressure to succeed intensified, leading to even longer working hours and more intense competition. As a result, the number of Karoshi deaths surged. To address the growing problem, the Japanese government implemented various measures, including stricter labor laws and regulations. However, despite these efforts, Karoshi remains a significant issue in Japan. In recent years, Karoshi has become a global concern. Countries like South Korea, China, and the United States have also reported increasing numbers of work-related deaths and illnesses. The rise of the 24/7 work culture fueled by technology and globalization has exacerbated the problem. I would attribute this, in other terms, to grind culture, which I could never be a part of. I mean, kudos to you. If you're the type of person who can get up early in the morning, grind all day, like whatever, and it doesn't make you tired, good for you. That is not me. As I said, naps are life. The impact of Karoshi extends beyond the individual worker. It can have severe consequences for families, communities, and economies. The loss of productive workers, the increased healthcare costs, and the social and emotional toll on families can be devastating. To combat Karoshi, it is essential to address the root causes of the problem. This includes promoting a healthier work life balance, reducing work hours, and improving workplace conditions. Additionally, employers should prioritize employee well being and provide adequate support for mental health. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected, it is crucial to recognize the global nature of Karoshi. International cooperation is needed to develop effective strategies to prevent work related deaths and illnesses. In conclusion, Karoshi is a serious issue that demands urgent attention. By understanding its historical context, recognizing its global impact, and taking proactive measures to address the root causes, we can work towards a future where work is no longer a life-threatening endeavor. Work should never be a life-threatening endeavor. I thought that we kind of had gotten past this from the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution, where they had women and kids working in mills. This was when they didn't have any child labor laws, so on and so forth. So in my head, I'm thinking like we're past that, right? We don't have those days where we have 4-year-olds that are working in mills, and in the States, we've moved on from having slavery in the South. Don't get me started on other things like systemic racism. That's a different topic. But for all intents and purposes, the slavery has been in the South, not to mention like the prisons in California. Okay, you know what I mean. There are nuances to everything in life. So, to me, this was surprising because I thought, hey, we had addressed this, right? This had been addressed. But it hasn't. Apparently, it hasn't been addressed. I would actually recommend. I read the book Thrive by Ariana Huffington. Full disclosure, actually, no, I did not read it. It was read to me on Audible by a wonderful voice actor. Her voice was therapeutic just in itself. But it was a very fascinating look that Ariana Huffington had kind of reflected on herself and realized she was doing this. She was going through the hustle culture and had the chance of suffering from like Karoshi. I actually believe there was an anchor man who collapsed on live TV because of being overworked and exhausted. So this is a real thing. Clearly, this is something that's being recognized elsewhere. It's not mentioned in United States culture, which I think is kind of weird because it exists. So it needs to, I feel like it needs a little more attention than it has been getting. So I would take away from this, if you are the type of person who sees a bunch of people who are like grinding and they're saying like I'm working so hard and da 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 da, like you can work until you explode, and I promise you it's not going to make that big of a difference. Can you tell me that Elon Musk works harder than my two grandparents did on a tobacco farm back in 1950? Nah, not the thing. So, this whole idea about making money is not about working harder, it's about working smarter. So, the way of working smarter is take care of yourself. You are important. There's only one of you. A company will go on without you. You die, they'll replace you in 2 weeks. That's just the way things are. You are a piece of capital working for a company. Do not put them first. Do not put them ahead of your health. Take care of yourself. That being said, thank you for joining me. If there are any issues, any things I got incorrect in this, again, this is Gemini, so Google could have things wrong. It's only as smart as the humans that tell it what to do. So, any corrections, any mistakes that I made in facts, please comment down below and let me know. It's always good to not perpetuate misinformation. And if somebody knows more about this topic than Google Gemini does, by all means, let me know. Also, let me know if there's any topic that you want to learn about, or hell, if there's a topic you know a boatload about, You want to challenge Google Gemini. I asked Gemini, it gets stuff wrong, and you want to show off that knowledge prowess? Do it to it, man. That, like, live your life. Show people you know your shit. Nerd out. I encourage it. So thank you for listening. This has been What's the Story, Gemini?